We're good. All right.
We're on.
Okay, welcome back. We're coming out of executive session. Should I say what we discussed?
Well, we discussed a variety of issues related to our employees, and at this time, we've decided not to take any action.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to unfinished business now. Website update. There hasn't been any changes nor any specific need to since last month. There will be a scheduled training in the future, but this is not like an emergency. We're still have our hands full with other work and things around the office. Facebook update, basically the same. I do have a new, for the website and Facebook, a new Excel spreadsheet, which is our burial database that can be updated and put on both of those. I think I said probably the same thing. Well, I didn't last month. This is a new one. The sign project.
I have a lot of info on that.
Yeah, lean in.
So I'm kind of going in several different directions with this because I really don't know time frame wise or budget wise what we're trying to be at. But I want to show y'all some things that I've got. I talked about this last month at the meeting where different options we had for signs. So I believe every cemetery I've ever been to, and I've been to a bunch of them, ours is a little bit unique in that we have signs for the blocks and signs with street names on them. But I think in the grand scheme of things, anybody that's looking for a particular grave site, if they came to that office and you looked it up, you would say it's in block 5.
Absolutely.
Right, you're not going to say it's on Smith Street. You're going to tell them what block it's in. So that being said, I've got one estimate from a company here that's done a lot of work for the city of Eureka, Ozark CNC and Design. And one of the things that he had told me that he could do is, and I thought this was pretty neat. For the blocks, I'm not necessarily talking about the street signs, just the blocks. He could do a 6-foot cedar post. It would be 2 feet in the ground, and it would have an aluminum sign on it. And so this is an example of some of the stuff that he's done for the city. And these cedar posts are finished with an oil, right? And they have a sign like that on it. Okay, so what he was talking about doing is doing the blocks. These are just a couple different designs, right? Or like that, or like that with a chamfered edge on the top where you could add a light later if you wanted to, but you didn't have to. Right, like that. I also,
Go to your mic.
sorry, I talk kind of loud.
No,
anyway.
I think it was picking it all up anyway.
Yeah, I also talked to another company that has done a bunch of work for Eureka. And by the way, those signs are aluminum, so they'll not rust and they'll last.
You have a price on them? Do you have a price on them?
I do. So for the sign and the post, finished in oil, so they would look like that nice photo I sent you. We would have to set them, but that's pretty easy. $125 each. But that's what he said. Doing it in treated pine, it could be considerably less. But the cedar is going to last 4 times as long as the pine will.
So that's $125 per block sign.
Yes.
Well, we would need to order probably
You have 59 blocks.
We would probably need to order,
I walked the whole cemetery this week.
probably need to order 70. We have one of those, block 78 doesn't have a sign at all.
There's 2 blocks that don't have
Yeah.
signs.
We'd probably need to
78
get
and
70 of those, so how much is that? You know, for expansion later on?
And the good part is, if a post broke or whatever, it's a cedar post. You can get them anywhere, right? The sign you can take off and attach to a new post. And this may be a project that's done in stages, because one of the other things that I looked at is what could we really do for the streets that would be nice? Now, this is something that would get a little bit expensive, and that's why I say doing it in stages. So this company talked about doing a street sign
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
in powder-coated aluminum.
Have any of y'all ever gone to Wright's Barbecue in Johnson's?
Yeah,
If you go past Wright's Barbecue, on the left-hand side, there are street signs that look similar to that are so cool. Unreal. They would look great in the cemetery.
and you could do like a pine cone top on it, like this. And this is actually sunk in the ground. That's the concrete, so the ground is there, and these signs are 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
So the concrete would be underground. They're aluminum, they're powder-coated black. You could do a nice finial on the top of it, looking like a pine cone, or, and any of these can be varied in size or whatever you want it to be.
Didn't you have a price on those as well?
I do. So my thought with the project was, what if we did a lesser expensive route on the block signs? Because one of the other things I found when I walked the cemetery is there's no real rhyme or reason to where the block signs are. It's not like they're on a specific corner. Some are on a corner, some are in the middle of the block. I think making it uniform would go a long way.
Yeah. Dan and LB and I had a several-hour meeting, and I'll show you the map where we at
Okay,
the
well,
time, we
okay.
identified where street block signs would go as you drove through. I'll
Well,
share that with you.
And what I was going to say with these street signs is, I think you could reduce, not the block signs, but the street signs, you could reduce the number that you have by strategically putting them on the intersections. And instead of just doing one sign at the intersection, maybe you do 2 signs. This is the street this way, this is the street this way. And so you do one post with 2 signs on it.
Yeah.
One thing to consider when we do that too is that if they're going to be on intersections or curves, we're going to have to set them uniformly back a certain distance. Most of the roads out there are so narrow, it's hard to even turn a vehicle on some of those corners out there. But what about that first thing that you showed us? It has the block number. Why couldn't we get a metal sign added to the bottom of that same thing, since it's 4 feet above the ground, that had the street name?
You could do it similar to this, right? Like where you could put maybe the block on the
Right.
top and the street name right here,
So that
like
would
they've done with the trails.
that would cut the cost down a little bit. I don't know how much those plaques or signs would be just for the sign.
So the cedar is what's expensive. Pine treated posts, finished in oil, are like $60 a post. Cedar posts finished in oil are $100 a post. The signs are $25 each.
Well, if we did 70 of them, it'd only be $87.50. And that's, I think we had anticipated a budget of 10 grand.
Yeah. It really was 10, I think, plus maybe 2 above.
But I looked at
We
a
talked
few of these
installation.
at some of the trails, and they are good looking signs.
And you know, we had one tree taken down today as far as that goes, cedar. We've been saving the trunks so that we can maybe get it to a mill and have old-time hitching posts made. So that would kind of, in certain places where people are getting up into the monuments and so forth when they park, and add to the nostalgia of the cemetery, and that would coordinate with this. It'd be a little different cedar, but it would still be a wood.
Yeah. Well, and these are just a cedar post, right, that are just finished with, I forget what he called the oil, but it was a certain type of oil.
Linseed or something. No.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, cedar sign post, block sign.
We had a bid from Kelly Monument to put those posts that we originally were talking about. They would do them for $25 a post.
Which post?
Installation, you mean?
Installation would install them for us for $25 a post.
Installing them is actually pretty easy, but 25 bucks is not bad.
Well, see, we could have the groundskeepers take up the old signs, have a stake or something where we want the new signs, and he'd come in there with a thing to drill the hole.
Yeah.
And that included the Quick Creek and so forth.
Oh, that's
It
good.
included everything.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah, that's really good.
So 70,
So 70 divided by 4.
well, 70, yeah. That's 1750 and 8750. That's under
Pretty
budget.
much there.
Pushing a little over 10.
And that's getting 70 of them, which some of them we should be able to not have to pay as much for. We just want the
Right.
post so that maybe even the metal, blank metal, so we could have it engraved later on.
Yeah, and that's doing it all at once
Yeah.
instead of, yeah.
Well, I'd sure like to do it all at once.
Yeah, I do. I would too.
But
I
they're
like-
nice, right? It includes, it finished with he called it timber oil and a chamfered edge on the top of it. So,
I like that.
and it's a 6x6, it's not a 4x4. It's a
6x6. I
6x6.
like that. I like that real well.
Yeah, we need to think through because that's definitely going to change kind of the personality look, where we've got all the black stuff and the black and gold to come in there and then plop this down. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm just bringing up the point that
Well-
we have these everywhere.
Well, I think they would stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to think something negative about it. But
If
I
you
think-
drive around the city, even they have these same signs
Yeah.
out by the springs and stuff like that. They're all over the place.
Yeah. Are they then black with the white lettering, or how are some
You
of
can
them?
do it however you want to do it.
They would look like aluminum color, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, these are
You could use
definitely
black
brushed.
lettering.
Yeah, or black lettering on an aluminum, brushed aluminum or brushed copper look.
These
or
look
a-
like that.
Well, yeah, see, this would be ideal, David.
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah.
And he can do a nice scroll like that
And the
with
fact
it.
that it's a 6x6, I think that's
That's huge.
significant.
Yeah. Because the 4x4s just look skinny. The 6x6s
Yeah.
look hefty.
Yeah, this really nice.
Yeah. Well, one thing about this project, we've been milling around and trying to critique ourselves and second-guess ourselves for several months. And we think it's a good project. We're trying to figure out a way to afford it and so forth. But like when we're over halfway there right now. And I think we can, I'd like to see this either get this done before the first year or shortly after.
Yeah.
Let that be our main project. If it runs into next year, that's our main project.
Well, I think it's a heck of a lot better than the green T-posts that are in the ground now, right? And then some of the black metal posts, right, that are there that have been utilized just because they're there. You could really have someone come out with a torch and just cut them off at the bottom if you wanted to get rid of some of them.
I asked Nathan about that, and he says they come out easy.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to point out that as commissioners, we have already had pre-approved this.
Project's
We have the
approved.
money for it. We have everything. We had withdrawn that so we could pursue this with you. And I would really like to resolve this and get this done really this year,
I
and through
wonder-
the winter if possible.
The pictures are great, but I wonder if he could bring an example next meeting and maybe we could wrap this up.
Well, I'll
I
tell
like
you
that.
what, if you go,
Go look at the sign across from the post office.
yeah.
See it every day.
Yeah, right across from the post office is a big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go look at that one across from the post office or at any of the springs.
You
They're
talking
everywhere.
about the one right up by Penn Church there? The post office
It's
here in town?
right around the corner
Yeah.
from the post
Okay.
office there at the
At
spring.
Spring, yeah.
Yeah.
From the
This is-
side entrance to the post office.
This is the best thing I've seen, so do we want to entertain the idea of deciding on this design?
Well, here's the other thing too, it ties in with what the city has done with their
Yeah.
signs. So it brings it all together.
Yeah, I would definitely entertain a motion.
Well,
Let's get her done. It's the same 6x6. It's the same signs. Right? Yeah,
But these signs, unlike the other projects that they were pursuing,
yeah.
you know, you don't have vinyl letters on there that are gonna peel off or anything like that. It's not green like a address box or something.
What's his time frame? Do you have any indication, or you could send it to us in
Yeah,
an email?
I just have to call them.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
see-
Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit more than the 125, because that was his price he gave you for blocks only. And I would like to see the street sign, not on every block sign. Like, for instance, was it Friedheimer? That main road that you come in the cemetery? It runs quite a ways, and there's several blocks involved. You might want to put it at close to the gate, and then past the intersection, and that's it. Not every block sign.
doesn't
would-
have to be on
Not
every
every block
corner.
sign would have, so we need to get a
That's-
price for how much it would be for a block and street.
yeah.
Okay,
I want to share with you the map that the three of us had already done. You can compare it with the work you've already done.
Okay.
Because we did that. We skipped blocks. We skipped a lot of blocks.
Well, I'd like us to really consider having that additional information about the cost with the street sign on
I'll get
there.
it.
And let's look at trying to move on this next meeting.
Do we have to wait that long?
Well, I don't guess we have to. We're at 10.5 right now. So if it was, we would
That's $10,500.
we would probably be, I think there's 25. I think that's the number. 25 of the block signs would have a street sign on it,
So
street thing on
if-
it also.
if they were the same the same cost as the block signs, it would add $625, because it's $25 per sign
For the sign.
for
Actual?
the metal part.
These are going to be larger.
Right, it might be a little bit. He buys the metal in sheets, so depending on how many he can stamp out of each sheet.
2675. We can probably work that out.
We can.
Huh?
We can work it out because
All
we
right.
we had
Let's
looked at
do
the
this.
math at previous months.
Why don't you make the motion, Matt, because you can detail the person that's going to do it. We need to get if we're going to make we need to include a time factor. In other words, when is he going to have the signs available? Is he going to charge us tax? You know?
Yeah, we need
And,
everything.
and just make the motion that the signs that have been presented to us by such and such, we'd like to approve those and pursue the
Total cost.
making of them and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get the information this week for sure. The guy's name is Dustin Griffith, and he's local. He has a company called Ozark CNC.
Okay, now what's his name now?
Dustin Griffith.
Griffith.
Griffin or
Griffith,
Griffith?
with a TH.
Okay.
It's Dusty. He's
Griffith. Ozark what?
He is, yeah,
I know Dusty. I know him.
Ozark what?
Ozark CNC.
C and C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's make a motion to contract with him.
Just pending the,
Yeah, let me get you that, I'll get that information for you this week. He's pretty responsive.
we'll entertain a motion to proceed with this pending that final cost, and then based with the additional numbers, we'll work together, or you'll get on the street signs, but we're already going forward with the block signs, correct?
Yeah, let's see what these street signs are going to add to
That's
the
it.
cost.
That's it.
Okay,
All right, you want to,
Good. good job.
yeah, well,
I think you'll like it if you go, like Ratha was saying, if you go
Yeah.
up by the post office and look at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, sure.
they're nice.
Yeah. So do we want to take a motion now so we can kind of move this along? Or we want to call a special meeting in the next 2 weeks and look at this over and just get it done? We could do it that way.
Well, I will text everybody the info when I have it, and then once you get it, if you want to call a meeting to get the ball rolling sooner, we can.
LB, how do you want to play it?
Well, I'd like us to make a motion to accept the design from Ozarka CNC with the, and determine the additional cost for street and block, and that the project is not to exceed $11,000 without the commission readdressing the project. If you can get this done for under 11,
Yeah.
that's my motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a second? Ratha, you want to second that?
Yeah, I'll second
All
it.
right, all in favor? Aye, 4-0.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Matt,
I
thank
think
you
it'll
so
be-
much.
I'm getting excited about it. I
Yeah.
think that's
Well,
going to be
the
fun.
metal ones are nice, and I figure if we ever want to revisit it later, like next year or the year after, right? And we say, hey, how can we add to it? Can we put in some of, because those big metal ones, I mean, they're like a regular street sign. I mean, they're aluminum, they're powder coated, but they're also expensive.
Yeah.
Right? They run about $850 a sign.
This is going to be really nice. Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay, let's move on. The kiosk improvement, have you all seen the kiosk with all 9 of the sheets that are in it right now? Anyway, it's all that material that we've talked about the last month or two. LB, I'd like for you to comment a little bit about, you did earlier about the new brochure
Right.
holders. There's 2 there, and then the 2 at the office, which I kind of view this as the same
Well,
information.
we got 2 for the office where people can pick up information, like, for instance, our rules and regulations. They can get a cemetery map. Our coin expedition is in the one at the kiosk. And we could also come up with a bulletin for the public about projects that we have and how they might be able to get involved. And we'll find something to put in all 4 of those. It just provides more information for the public.
Yeah, and it's looking good. And I'd like to say that they've been populated now for a couple of weeks, but about every, 2 or 3 days, we need to reprint and put information back.
Yeah.
People are taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that was under a kiosk improvement?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then let's go to the new cremation area. This was something that we had all talked about. We've all gone and taken a look at it. We've approved it between blocks 18 and 19, and there was just a little discussion on where we wanted to
Well,
put the headstones.
I had Hannah go 3 feet from the east side of that block, 3 feet out, and try to get a straight line. This one is so long, it's pretty level. We have the opportunity of not having the headstones whip-jawed all the way down through there. So and it doesn't look, we need to have enough room between, on one side to go down through there with a mower. So we're going to move it back 1 foot from the east side, go out 4 feet, and then go down 40 feet and put a metal stake that if something is sold between that point and that point, we just take a string on the end, run it to the other string, and just measure down 4 feet increments, and it'll be in a line. Then we'll do another one at 80 feet. And some of these are going to have to be marked in the book, and we're going to have to make a map as well as a journal for this. And some of them we will not sell until the plots to the east and the west of this cremation row have been used.
Yeah, and that's very important.
Access is the key to it.
Yeah, right. So that part's very important because when we shift it, it's going to still look good, things will be straight, but as LB said, if you went down there and took a look, there will be places that will not be sold until the other parts are, right,
Yeah,
based upon access.
And having it only a foot away allows for less area to weed eat. We can't get a push mower down through there, but they're going to have to weed eat around the borders anyway.
Yeah, and you'll see down each side, some of the headstones really are on either side. So there's nothing really uniform when you start down that aisle. So it could get a little confusing if people were going to come visit and they're limited to going into a 1 foot space in the grass at that point. So I just want everybody to kind of be aware of it. I'm for everything that LB said.
And we're looking
I'm fine
at
with
calling it the 1819 cremation row.
Yeah,
And just number them.
yeah, 1819 Cremation Row. It's going to be fine. It'll have to be drawn up, gone in the books before anything's sold out of it, so that people can just take a look and they'll know what it is. And I'm fine with it. So I just wanted that additional conversation tonight since we've already approved this. Thank you, LB.
Yes, sir.
That cemetery projects committee,
We keep having this on unfinished business, and the thing about it is we're going to have to try to catch our breath and reach out to the community and try to see if there's some people involved that would like to fundraise for us.
our friends, yeah.
Yeah. And so this is just a ongoing thought process, I guess.
Yeah.
At some point in time, we're going to have to prioritize it and delegate each one of us to make some contacts and try to have those people at a meeting to discuss it with them.
Yeah, maybe something we'll kick off the new year with, you know. I'm going to leave it on here. Is that all right with you all? Yeah, I'm going to leave it, you know, just as unfinished business.
Okay.
Okay. The CPA QuickBooks progress. Okay, this is good. If you all will take your treasurer's reports that I handed out and go back to the third page, I just want to point out an email. We made great progress. They've spent the 4 hours on there. We are updated and reconciled through September 2024. And so as you can see, the accounts, they're here listed. Are you all with me? I'll wait a minute. Yeah. You see that email printout right there? You got that one?
Got it.
Yeah, okay. So these accounts that we were talking about are the ones that were really in the report that I get from the bank every month. So having said that, I answered the question, there's no petty cash. So this transaction questions, take a look at the next page. There's an Excel spreadsheet. One line here is that we still need to add the tractor, Matt's tractor from March, you know, as an asset on the books. It's not. So if you look at this here, undefined transaction report, I really think, LB, if you look through this, these are actually things from your credit card and the checkbook where she's looking for just some of the backup information that she doesn't have. I would say that all of the credit card receipts that you've given me are filed by month with that month that's been that's been, that the Visa bill is in, right? So what I want to do is ask our office manager then to just pull this information together and work directly with Ladwig
Well,
from
okay.
this sheet.
You probably shoot me,
What's up?
but when we do a budget for the year, basically it's an operational cost-based budget, right?
Yep.
We identify different areas that we're going to have to have as expenditures. Some of them are fixed, some of them are variable. What I want to see every month is a report that says, let's take, for example, tree removal.
Either
Tree removal. Let's say tree
subcategory.
removal. The initial budget was 10,000. To date, we have spent 3,500. The balance is so-and-so. And then the next month, if we have an expenditure in that, it goes back to that, so that we know how much we've spent year-to-date, every month. We know how much we have left.
Yeah, we're going to have every bit of that.
That is, because
That's
of
why we're
this,
doing it.
there are certain months we don't spend much, and other months that we spend quite a bit. And we've got to be able to say, well, our balance at the end of April is going to cover May and June's expenditures, or May's expenditures. If we don't do it that way, we're going to get in trouble with regards to maybe not having the funds to get through the next quarter or the next 2 or 3 or 4 months, because of maybe we're not selling graves like we had budgeted for.
Yeah.
And when we budget for 40 sales of graves each year, who knows when we're going to sell them? So that's what I'd like to see, because I get nervous thinking about, do we have enough money to cover our operational expenses for the year at this time? And we need to know that before we say, well, let's do so-and-so.
Yeah. And these reports out of QuickBooks are going to do exactly that. Yeah, thank
And
you.
I'd like to see, would it be beneficial for us to have this accountant come next meeting and kind of, where we can visit with him and talk to him about getting a system like that? Because,
Well, we have the system like that. That's what we've
well,
already done.
I'd like to see it. I'd
Yeah.
like to see it.
Yeah, so what we're talking about now is pulling the reports out of the system, and when these expenses are categorized, and a lot of that's done by the notes that are on them, which is what a lot of this is about, as well as who the check's made out to. You know, like all of my T-Mobile stuff, that's all going right in.
Here's the thing.
Expense.
Say I order something from Amazon, okay? Some of that order could be for office supplies. Some of it could be for hardware. Some of it could be a maintenance item.
Belby, that's up to you to note that on the receipt so it can be categorized properly.
Okay.
Yeah, or you could just make 3 different Amazon orders. This one is only this is only that, and then
Or if you had
Keep it
one
simple that
receipt,
way.
you could take maybe the packing slip and attach the
yeah,
receipt to the
Yeah.
packing slip.
Problem is Amazon doesn't send they don't send
No.
packing slips.
No, and they don't give you receipts except
They don't
by
give you
email.
receipts.
You have to get them off an email, and that's sometimes hard for me to do, but anyway.
what I mean.
I
we have-
understand that, but at this point in time, it's going to be hard to go back over all those and get that done. But I'd
I mean,
like to
that's-
see the
that's what this
form.
is.
I'd like to see the form that we're going to go with, because in my mind, we're going to have to make a decision whether or not we're going to keep someone, an account like this accountant, to oversee for next year or not. Can we handle it on our own?
Yeah.
And make things, and have the information that the audit requires?
Yeah. Okay, so my question then to you on this is, I'd like to have our office manager go through the accordion file based on this and match this up, because you're not going to really have to dig into this All right. Here's L.B. Wilson, these are checks I wrote to you, right? And some of them are your credit card Amazons, not to you, all of these. But I have all of your receipts already in the file. They didn't have access to it's only these receipts. Look, this is the first one, a credit card expense at Acords in February. It goes right on through, just a few more. We're not talking about volumes and volumes. I mean, every month, we only write, I don't know, 8 or 10 checks or something,
Checks, yes, but credit card use.
Let's say, credit cards, another 8 or 10 of those. In other words, this is not
20 a
big
month times
deal.
12 is 240. And then you have to be able to say, well, this was an office charge? Or
Exactly.
Was this, or was this hardware?
Yeah, exactly.
Or was this maintenance?
Yeah.
And Raytheon might charge it up as maintenance rather than hardware.
That's why we have this right here. And we've got to break it down. It's
Okay.
garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
So we've got to be precise on the way you write up. We write up, our expenditures so they can go into the system correctly and push these buttons and run the reports.
I'll work with her on that.
Yeah,
Office
okay.
manager attempting to identify
Yeah.
expenditures with,
Yeah.
what do you call it?
Well, you've got everything here.
With categories.
Yeah, that's it. And the requests are right here.
Okay,
From,
all right.
Hannah knows these. She hasn't seen any of this, but she's familiar with QuickBooks, so she'll pick right up on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's move on. Do we have an update just on how that workshop went in Huntsville?
Guys learned a lot. They brought some information back about some tools that we might want to purchase. They found out exactly what kind of adhesives to use to put things together. Nathan said both he and Justin really enjoyed it, and there was probably 50 or 60 people there.
Oh, good.
The lady that's put on from some conservation place in Little Rock or State Department, I asked her, and she told Nathan that she'd be getting a hold of me and for the possibility of putting the same workshop on here in our cemetery.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
So the benefit would be that they would be able to set up and straighten up some of the monuments, and it wouldn't cost us anything.
Cool.
And we get to show off our cemetery. So things went really well,
Good.
really well.
Yeah, well worth it. Okay, we'll move on to new business now. Some of these are kind of repetitive, but do you have any comments on the iconography tour?
Okay,
Lean in real loud.
this is in the works. If you all think it's okay, iconography tour. We can do this in-house. It's almost put together. We would select like a day per month for an hour tour at the cemetery. They would get an outline of the tour, and it would include a history of our cemetery, some information about iconography from the beginnings, a history of the different types of headstones, and then we would have a walking guided tour of 10 to 12 sites. Okay? At the end of that tour, they would receive their outline of the tour along with one of these. These cost us just a couple bucks. So we would charge, let's just say, just for a figure of $20. We're going to have to get us a banner to put on the fence out there. We're going to have to get us maybe a little brochure made up that can go in the brochure things as well as in the paper.
Yeah.
And so let's say we charge $20 and it's, we decide the second Saturday of every month or something, okay? From 10 to 11. Information would be on there about all that's involved in the tour. And if we have 4 people in the tour, then proceeds go to the cemetery. If we have more than 4, we would share some of those proceeds with the tour guide. That would be an incentive for coming in on Saturday. Okay, this is just thinking about this stuff now. So that, and Hannah can have all this ready to go. As a matter of fact, had all this ready to go before the first of the year, so where we could start maybe like in April through October. So if y'all are good with this, it's not going to cost as much, and it's not going to be, we'll use Justin, Nathan, and Hannah so they can take turns being the guides. And I just think it'd be, something that we might consider, say, July's tour is on place it on a busy weekend. It doesn't have to be the same Saturday every month. We can get a visitor's guide and a community calendar, and when we have a large number coming in of people, then we can schedule.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because we would want to probably follow, Corvette weekend we just had, and follow in these weekends and work around, because it may be good to have it not in the morning when all this exhibitions and things are going on around town.
Well, yeah, the
with these people.
times can be changed.
Yeah, it could be a
whatever you
1
wanna
to
do.
3 or a 2 in some afternoon, and
But I can get you something where you can look at it if you all
Based
think
on-
this is worth doing.
I do. I really think it's worth doing. It's worth pulling together, having this information, and promoting it. We could have something planned prior to one of our May event, heading into the Memorial Day weekend. We could probably have something March and April prior to that as well, but I know we could promote this properly.
Well, we could get a generic sign banner for the fence that says iconography tour this Saturday, 11 to 12, or 10 to 11, and only put it up like on a Monday. That way it would cover this Saturday. And we wouldn't have to say first Saturday or the date, and have to change all that stuff.
What if, we have voices coming up? I wonder if there would be anything we could do in the afternoon to promote on those 3 days, if people wanted to come out and get a little taste of a tour of this prior to that event. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
So let's move the iconography tour up into
Well,
unfinished
let's
business and pursue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Don't you think we just need to make a motion to proceed with the iconography tour project, the organizational aspect of it to be presented at the next meeting?
Yeah, that's good. You want to repeat that in the form of a motion? Let's go for it.
I move that we proceed with the iconography tour organizational development and have something to present to the commission in our November meeting.
Have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Hey, thank you.
Okay.
Monumental news.
All right, this is something that's been thrown around for 2 years. Monumental news. Small little ad in the local paper. Monumental news has a picture of the monument and/or person, has a brief biography of that individual, and at the bottom, it lists anything that the cemetery would like the public to know that we're doing or need help on or support for. This would go in the paper quarterly. I already have all of 25 and half of 26 done. The biography for 6 people. It's already done. All I'm going to do is go take a picture. Why not? It keeps the cemetery in someone's mind from time to time. We will have an expense for whatever it costs us for the ad if we can't get the local papers to put it in there free. Shouldn't cost very much.
I want to entertain a motion that we do this. Yeah.
And again, our sexton office manager is going to be the one who gets this together.
Yeah, I can't remember when I got the price for like those quarter and eighth page ads.
It was 100 and something.
Yeah, 175 maybe.
We don't need
doesn't
one
matter.
anywhere that big.
Yeah, well, that's the point. So I think we just need to push them through and do this.
Well, I think we should also just put it up on our website or Facebook. page
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
There you go. Very
That
good.
iconography tour information is going to
Very
be there
good.
as
That's
well.
why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah,
Website, what was the other one?
Facebook.
Facebook.
yeah. Iconography tour, all that info is going to be put there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
All right,
let's,
so let's make a motion that we proceed with the monumental tours project.
have a second? Retha, you going to second that
I'll
one?
second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Let's go to point number 3. It's the budget for 2025.
Okay, we've got to come up with a budget before the end of the year. So we may just have to have a special meeting
Yeah,
with all this stuff that's going on in the city about trying to remove this sales, tourist promotion tax and so forth. I hope people realize that if it weren't for the city council supporting the cemetery as it does, it might not be the place you want to go walk. Because they support us, just give so much to help. And if funds are taken away and the budget has to be decreased, that means we'll probably lose a groundskeeper position or both of them, who knows? So, people need to think about things just cost. And if we want to keep the services and our cemetery in good condition, we need to be supportive of raising the funds necessary.
so I've got a copy of the current budget that we've had. It would be good, I think, to take that budget, sit down and take a look at what we can pull right out of QuickBooks, align that maybe over the next couple of weeks, and so that at next month's meeting, then I'll have for everybody, a budget, and I'll have the printout of where we are for the year. And we can look through that thing and make a lot of headway next month on it.
Well, sources of income and things that items for expenditures we may need to increase those as well.
Yeah. We will go through each of the line items the way we've done in the past, for this budget. We actually did a mid-year budget as well. revision. So,
If we review this in November, we need to decide on it in December for sure,
yeah,
if not November,
yeah,
because we have to present it.
yeah. We have to present to the city.
How
We're
about if we
fine.
make a motion to have a special meeting in a couple of weeks to discuss it?
I'm fine with that. I will go ahead and get the information that we already have on our current budget, and I would like to see what QuickBooks gives us in actuality. And we can do that, LB, as soon as this Excel spreadsheet's been
21st?
identified.
21st?
I am I won't be back in town till the night of the
28th.
22nd. Yeah, 28th.
So I make a motion that
We have a special.
we have a special meeting to discuss the budget on October 28th.
Have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All righty, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Thank you.
9/28.
Number 4, promotion of burial sites. That again goes kind of hand in hand of us staying out in the public's eye, keeping information updated, Facebook website.
What did you just do?
And any other,
Oh, goodness.
well, we're finished with number 3. I've just moved on to number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, we don't have really an advertising plan, in place where we're really
Well-
going into, it's that monthly, the Eureka news, we've got to get like 3 months in advance tourists and people, whoever it is, that come in. So it's really focusing now on that, so that we don't miss deadlines.
Well, one thing I'd like to encourage folks that haven't made their plans with regards to purchasing plots for future use, that they maybe consider doing that before the first of the year. That's our main source of income, and it allows us to do special projects. It allows us to have enough funds for our maintenance and so forth. So
Yeah.
anybody and everybody is welcome to come buy a plot.
Yeah.
We fix you up.
Yeah. So it's just promotion. I don't know if we look back into a package on the local radio station again. You remember what we looked at before? This little Eureka newspaper that's right up here around the corner, as well as the Times Echo, where we're going to spend some money, try to do a little investing, which we could target, for the end of the year.
I find it interesting here because as I think about cemeteries, right, and kind of look at what I feel like trends, it seems like most people tend to be buried around where they live or back to where they're from, where their family's from. Eureka seems to have a lot of people that are long-term residents, right? Generational. And so I've often wondered why there's not more burials at the cemetery here. Like, where are these people going to?
Well, that's local little cemeteries within 3-mile radius.
The majority of them are going back home. A lot of folks retire and come to Eureka Springs, Holiday Island. When they pass away, they go back home because they have maybe siblings, and family members there. That's one of the things that's kind of, in a way, we haven't filled up the cemetery. If they weren't doing that, the cemetery would be full. And then we sometimes we get people who just want to be buried here, and they may not even live here. You know what I mean? But the fact that a lot of people come to the community to live 25, 30, 40 years, but they end up going back what they view as where they originated from, or their real home.
But here in the county, there are many family burial plot sites.
There's like Beulah Union out south of town.
Yep.
And then there's Rock House.
Yeah.
And so you've got several,
These little
several
old.
small cemeteries that's,
Well, it's like I kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say study it a little bit, but look at trends, right? You look at Berryville, which is bigger than Eureka, right? Maybe twice the size, but it's not massive, right? It's not like going into Harrison or Bentonville, right? So it's a little bigger than Eureka is. But if you look at the city cemetery there, they seem to have a lot more burials there.
Family groups.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there's just an awful lot of folks in Berryville that's born and raised there. That's the thing.
and that's where
Talk
my
about generational.
grandparents are.
There's
our
a
whole
lot, the
family.
A lot of
population,
Eureka families.
there's probably a lot higher percentage of people in Berryville that live in Berryville as opposed to Eureka, who were born and raised there, and then they're third or fourth generation. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
All righty. Flag display. Number
Okay.
5.
I'm going to bring this up and hope we can come to some kind of agreement. I would like to see flags displayed year-round on all veterans' graves. I found a source for 12 by 18 flags, 100 of them at $112 a piece, $112. So if we were to buy 300 of them, we'd have a little left over and everything would be filled. Okay, and then we don't mess with them until they get deteriorated. And that'll depend. Some of them will last 3, 4, 5 years. Some of them may not last that long. And we honor our veterans year round.
I really like this idea. This has a little impact on the American Legion, some others that come in and place flags and take them up. But I think we can work with them and still have an event, right? Where we're doing the salutes and so on.
Yeah.
So that's not going to eliminate that part of which they're so crucial, and thank you, for the way they support us.
Right, absolutely. But I think that'll be something our cemetery is known for. Most cemeteries don't do that.
I like this a lot.
And so it's going to cost us, I think I can absorb that in the maintenance budget this year if you all agree.
LB,
And $350.
do you think 300 flags is what your estimate is?
Well, we'll go and we'll put all of them out, and if we need some more, we'll get some more.
Yeah.
Do you really think they'll hold up that long?
Yeah.
Yeah?
See, I've had one on my dad's grave for years, and about every 3 years or so, I had to replace them. Replace it.
Yeah.
And these are 12 by 18, so they're quite visible. Pretty good size. And they have a little tip on the top. Okay.
I would entertain any further discussion, or would you entertain a motion for that?
I think it's a good idea. One question, though. No, this is,
For the record, he's belly aching, folks.
so are you talking about putting them on all veterans' graves? What are you going to do with the Confederate flags?
All right. The Confederate flags are the ones that are out there right now, year round.
No, I
And so
understand.
we're not going to mess with those.
So you'll just put 2 flags?
We can decide to put 2 flags if you wanted to, or we just have, I think the idea is that they would like a bit of a distinction, and that's fine with me. The location of the American flags that are put out for Veterans Day, we would fill all of those first.
Now,
Which brings up another question, the tubes that they're in.
that's the point I was going to. Go ahead.
We can paint those either white, we can paint those tubes a color if we wanted to.
Well, who places those?
Groundskeepers. Oh, the tubes?
Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
Okay, now there was a point of getting permission that I think we should discuss, because we know that there are many veterans out there, many plaques, beautiful bronze plaques, as well as on their headstones. They don't even have pipes, or have had flags. And we had, didn't we have a rule? I'd have to look that up about getting permission or not getting permission, which would have to work for no matter what kind of flag you put out there or from which war.
Well, I think if you're putting the American flag out there, you're fine.
It's appropriate for all veterans.
Yeah.
No matter whether it be from Civil War on. Civil War veterans were considered, they now consider those as,
And I think leaving the Confederate flag out there is fine also.
Absolutely, yeah.
For those that are there.
Yeah. So do we need to revisit that, was it the law that was passed probably in the last 12 years, which clarified who's veteran, who
it
wasn't?
said something about if the family member did not want it, they could object to it. I forget the wording of it exactly. It's been a while.
I really don't think that's going to be an issue, because if someone doesn't want an American flag on a veteran's grave, they can take it up and bring it to us, and there's no questions.
That's true.
I agree.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal. We're just
So
trying
by
to honor
default,
them.
we're going
And if
to
you
do
don't
it.
want your relative honored that was a veteran, then
Yeah.
take the flag up and no problem.
Okay, so then back to a point about the pipe that's in there, I'm sure what were those, 3 foot
Oh, no.
driven
no,
in,
no,
or
they're-
18 inches
no, they're-
driven in?
They're 12, 18 inches.
A
at the
foot or
most.
so? So,
Just a piece of conduit.
yeah, do we need to look at the expense of perhaps how many feet we might need? Because I believe there's quite a few veterans out there that do not have that pipe. Yeah,
I don't think there's that many.
Yeah, I think most of them have them, some of them need to be,
yeah, my grandpa
Replaced or
didn't.
straightened,
We got it. And we
The
got
ones that would
grandpa.
probably not have them are the ones that have been buried in the last couple of years,
Yeah, that's,
where there wasn't one put out there.
yeah,
There won't be, I don't think there'll be that many.
right.
but it's pretty easy to look at
Yeah.
a marker and identify if it's a veteran or not.
Yeah.
Do you want to put a $400 or $500 limit on this project? Or, I mean, you talked about,
I think we can absorb this year a maximum of 500.
okay.
I think you can do the conduit and the flags for
Yeah,
that.
I'll take that, I'll take that motion.
Not to exceed $500.
Right,
Okay. That's part of the motion.
okay. It was made.
Okay.
Wait, let's make sure Ratha's got that written down, because in a few minutes, we're going to have to recap it anyway. It's awesome.
Okay, so what I put on here was flags on all veterans' graves year-round. Motion made by Matt to purchase flags for all veterans' graves and conduit not to exceed $500.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Passed.
The only thing I would like to do when we put the conduit out there, if we can, let's have some kind of uniformity.
Yeah, well, there is
No,
a direct.
what do you mean?
It's to the right
To the right of the headstone.
of the headstone.
Yes.
Yeah. it
But
has to.
Or
if
the
it,
footstone.
if it has a Confederate flag also,
Uh-huh.
do we want to put them side by side? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're not going to initially put them on Confederate flag graves.
Okay.
If a flag's there of
okay,
any kind, we're not going,
We'll leave that.
yeah.
yeah. I can reach out to the responsible party on that and just share this.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
We'll conform any way we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good, very good. Thank you, LB. Deed issues, number 6.
God. All right, here we go.
Push
1982.
his mic.
1982, some folks bought some plots out there at the cemetery. The mother and father's buried there, and there's at least one additional plot. 1982. Lady wants to try to sell those, thinking about selling them, in 2018. She was told by the sexton at that time that they were purchased in 82 for $175 apiece.
Okay.
She wanted to sell them in 2018 for $350. Okay. Well, what happened between that time and now is someone is buried in her plot that she was going to try to sell.
Well, then you can't
That
sell
plot,
it.
that plot was sold to somebody else. So she wants made right about it. She wanted to know today how much that plot would be worth today. Well, it's only a 5 by 10. That's $625. Nice lady, as it turns out. She does not want another plot. She doesn't want to trade plots. She wants to be compensated for it. I said, ma'am, are you kind of thinking of this as an investment?
So let me back up for a minute, because
Yeah.
I don't understand. So someone bought them in 82 and sold them in 2018?
No, was wanting to.
We sold it again in 2018.
Yeah,
This is on us.
I see.
this is on us. And so, let's see. But she has a request. Her and her sister can either want their cremains placed on top of their mother and or father's grave. Well, we do that, okay? So when she was talking 625, I said, ma'am, it could get pretty expensive about putting those cremains out there. I said, you realize that, don't you? She says, no, how much would it?
Oh, boy.
Anyway, So
625?
So we're giving her a cremations plot, she's happy?
No.
Or we're going to?
here's the bottom line. We're going to pay her $350 because it's our mistake.
Yeah.
Then if her and her sister want to be buried separate, she said, we'll be buried together in the same container. That's their choice. If they're buried separate and they want us to conduct a cremation service, it's $125 for both of them, or it's $150 if they're put together. The $50 comes as a registration fee to have them, recorded. The $100 comes from us digging the one hole. Okay? If they want to dig it, it's $25 each, period. Good enough?
Yeah, she happy with
We
that?
saved $375.
Yeah, yeah,
And she's good with that. Just got to get you guys to agree that that's what we're going to do.
yeah. I'm good. We don't need to have a motion.
Whatever makes them happy.
Yep.
But I'm
And
going to
that's
ask
fair.
another stupid question, not related to that. Why do we even allow people to dig their own hole?
Well, because of the cost. We got one out there beside the warehouse or workshop that has a mom and dad buried in there, and I believe they're both casket burials. There's only 5 other relatives buried in that same grave. We don't know 4 of the 5. People just come out there and dig a hole.
And
So
that's
we're-
why I would stop that.
Well,
We're
we
trying to
have.
stop it.
Yeah,
But
we
they're-
don't allow it,
We don't allow
We'll
it.
watch them do it because we've got our depth, we have our rules and regulations on the whole. They can save the money.
Yeah, but my thought of it is this, and I don't want this to sound cold, right? But it is a business, right? Like, we don't let people come into our shop and use our lift to work on their car. I mean,
Well,
yes, it's nice and convenient, but
I think this is-
it's part of trying to be empathetic. They may have a way of grieving by digging their own hole for their loved one. It's a little different situation, I think.
Right.
If they are willing to dig it the hole the proper way and they don't need anybody in attendance and they fill it up and so forth, then $25 seems reasonable to record the information, date of birth and death and that kind of stuff. And
Families do make, a celebration of life, and they'll gather and they will dig it themselves. Not a grave we're talking about.
it's just an option.
Cremation. Yeah.
So that may be something down the road you might want to look at. But
It doesn't happen very often.
I wouldn't think, and I'm familiar with the custom of people, throwing a little bit of dirt into the grave after, but I don't know, maybe it's just where I'm from or something.
Well,
Just-
the thing is we have had requests to do that. People want to dig their hole to save the money. And since we're not out anything, it's not costing us anything. Real estate's the only thing we have to sell, but it's not costing us additional real estate. Now, if they were to buy a cremation plot, then they would have to buy the plot, and they could still do that. But we would get something from the cremation plot as well.
There are people in town that are LBs in my age that he's probably known a little longer than I have, but I've known a lot of them for 60 years that we have had phone calls from that have plots out there that really want to know the very same thing that you just asked about. And we're just happy to help them. I said I'd go out there because I knew them and would assist, them in just digging a hole, just in honor of the persons that we know, because we're just in the position we're in. We're not giving them anything. It's not like, hey, it's not like the city's not charging something. This is just something personal.
All right, the last part of the deed situation I have in my hand
Speaking
two
there,
deeds.
talking.
I have in my hand 2 deeds that we received that the individuals that own them do not want them anymore, and they are giving them back to us to resell. So all we need to do is flag those 2 plots, try to sell them, and do a quick claim deed. So that's okay, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's all the deed stuff.
Yep. Did we look those up just to see where they were? Curious? I'm just curious.
We're in the process of doing that.
Cool. We're in the process of doing it. Thank you, LB. Is that everything? All right. Number 7, pet awareness. This is a good one.
Okay.
We're getting slapped.
We have a little bit of an issue in the cemetery now, and it's gotten worse. People who come out there with their pets are not cleaning up after them.
Exactly.
It's
Now,
horrible.
we need to emphasize that it doesn't make any difference whether it's a snake or a Sasquatch. It needs to be on a leash. The leash will help control and contain the pet so that they do their business on the side of the road. We're finding piles of stuff in the middle of the block. People are letting their animals raise their leg and urinate on headstones and flowers and so forth.
Totally unacceptable.
That should not be allowed. This morning I was sitting out there waiting for the tree people to come, and here comes a lady with 2 dogs. Sure enough, she stopped, and one of them lifted the leg up right on the headstone. So we would just like to ask folks to be a little bit more conscientious, to clean up after your pets, and try to keep them on a leash. I know sometimes they get away, things happen, but the intent is to have the animal controlled no matter what kind it is. The other thing that people need to be aware of is you're asking for trouble when you bring a lap dog and an aggressive dog and walk them together. Because if another dog is overly friendly or somewhat aggressive as well, the lap dog's going to initiate barking at it, and the big dog's going to protect the little one. So here we go. The lady was out there the other day, had a German Shepherd, and it took her to the ground. So it's important that we try to use common sense with our pets, clean up after them, and try to avoid conflict with other dogs.
LB, let's talk about a pet policy then.
Well, I don't know.
I think we need a pet policy.
The policy we have is to allow for people to bring their dogs out there and their animals out there. It's not a city park. We don't have to, there's lots of places, the city has one here in Harmon Park, and they differentiate between a large dog and small dog
that's real
section.
nice, yeah.
You know? And so I think the
You hate
folks...
for it to come to a no pets allowed thing.
Exactly, and it can get to that. There's just, you can't imagine the number of piles that have occurred in this summer.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gotten worse. That's why I'm mentioning it.
So I really think that we need to be educating these people that are coming out there at 7 a.m., middle afternoon, middle morning, and walking their dogs in the evening. I don't know if it needs to be.
Well, you've got the pet stations out there.
Yeah.
You would think that would be
We
self-evident.
also
just
have
from that.
signs
Yeah.
that indicate a leash.
Yeah.
Just because the dog's on a leash doesn't mean it's under control.
I think we need to expand on that leash sign and basically redo it and have 3 or 4 bullet points in there. These people know who they are. Even if we had smaller signs and put them on those poop stations.
Well, I
Poop
think here's the
stations.
problem, right? 90% of the people understand.
Yep.
They got the stations, everyone understands why they're there and what they're for. The 10% of the people, you can put up 100 bullet points and they're gonna do whatever they wanna do, unfortunately.
I think those that are watching this, if they'll visit with their friends that have pets and they bring them out there, I think this can take care of itself. and we'll just continue to monitor it. If it continues to be as bad as it is, or it gets worse, we'll have to entertain.
Maybe a funny.
But who's going to
slogan.
enforce all these things? See, that's the problem.
Well, that,
We don't want to be in a position where we're having to be police out there, or where we're having to tell the groundskeepers to call the dog catcher. And you know as well as I do, that's a hit or miss thing
well, that's
about
bad
availability
vibes to
and
the
so
public,
forth.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the thing where, the supposed Lord Act, the third rule was peer pressure. Hopefully, people will take care about the cemetery and their pet if they want to come out there and have a place to walk it.
Well, I love the pets out there, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
why my wife and I bought our plots out there is, the people that come out there with the kids on bicycles and walking the dogs. I think it's great.
Well, would you like us to maybe open up that area that you have purchased out there for?
I'm going to make the motion.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I think it's great, but I also agree that, the common sense has to take over, right? When you see the pet stations and it's got the baggies and everything, and the signs clearly state, all pets must be on leashes, I mean, that kind of conveys the point that, hey, we don't mind if you have pets here, but keep them on a leash and clean up after them.
And
Yeah.
stay out of the middle of the
Yeah.
blocks.
Yeah.
Walk along the side of the
Well, I
road.
will tell you this, I just came back from vacation and was in 21 states, visited many, many cemeteries, and I did not see one cemetery that we visited that said dogs allowed.
Yeah.
Every sign we seen was no dogs allowed.
Yes. I've not seen another that does it.
Well, the
No
thing
dogs
is,
allowed, no pets allowed.
How about a nice little sign that says, "Are you the dog owner who's allowing your dog to poop all over this place?" With a question mark.
yeah,
Folks, don't let that happen.
something like that maybe.
Well, those
Yeah.
tombstones are too expensive for animals to be urinating on
Yeah.
as well.
Well, by discussing it tonight, hopefully we've made people aware that there is an issue, and if they're part of that issue, they can correct it.
Yeah. So if you 20 people out here that have come to visit us tonight know anybody that's, has their dogs out there, let them know, okay?
We also have
Any
cameras
questions? Okay, thank you.
We have cameras out there. We can see them on camera when they don't have
We
their
do.
dog
Yeah,
out
we
there.
have a minimum of 4 cameras.
All right.
Okay, well, I want to keep talking that because I don't like this. Okay, thank you. And number 8, visitors versus daily work duties.
Visitors to the cemetery need to realize that we cannot, our groundskeepers cannot always work around their vehicles. The groundskeepers have no control over the wind direction. If they're mowing someplace 150 or 200 feet away and the wind kicks up and carries the dust and debris and it gets on your car, we can't help that.
Is that an issue?
It has, we have had this brought to my attention. Well, our cemetery stance at this time is that the groundskeepers are asked to be aware of where the vehicles are parked and try not to have the discharge part of the mower toward those vehicles.
And they're not weed eating around them at the
Right.
same time.
And then the other aspect, but people need to realize it's a work area, and so your vehicle might get a little dusty. The second thing is, we have people who are walking up on mowers, the guys in a mower. Well, they don't have any rear view mirror, so again, I'm asking the guys to have their head on a swivel and be conscious of people that are out there walking. Do not have the discharge pointed toward the individual that's walking. Shut your mower off if there's someone walking by. We're going to do everything we can to be visitor friendly. But there's a possibility that someone might get sprayed when they're making a quick turn to go back the other direction. So a little tolerance from our visitors would be appreciated.
And, because they're out there all day long with weed eaters and mowers and everything, they do wear ear protection. which is good. We like that. And a lot of times inside that, they'll have their music playing and so on. And that's fine as well. That's it. Okay.
Just wanted to address that.
Yeah, thank you, LB. And now we're ready to move on to the loose ends. Point number one, the truck vehicle donation. You have something good to say about that? Well,
Anyone out there in TV land
yeah,
that has a vehicle that is running in pretty good shape, truck preferably, we need to replace our cemetery truck.
yeah.
It's costing us quite a bit each year to keep it up. And so if anyone would like to donate a truck, the cemetery would be very appreciative.
Now, tax deductible.
That's it.
Okay, good. Loose end, had a question about the possibility of installing near the back of the cemetery a porta potty. And actually, I called and talked to Steve about that. They're $105 a month, and they service them once or twice a week. And I think that might be a little prohibitive.
What do you think about that?
But I'm open for discussion about that. You know, where it would probably be in that far back circle, or it could be on off down the area in block 51?
How many were you thinking about putting out
No,
there?
just one. As a courtesy, just as a courtesy.
Well, I guess that's better than trying to hide behind a tree.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people it's really going to benefit are the people that go jogging and stuff like that out there,
Yeah.
But that's 1,200 and something a year.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
that.
I really don't see it myself.
I mean, I've been out there doing some things, walking, getting information and stuff, and if I've had to, use the restroom, I've just gone down the street to the gas station.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could put a
No
sign
one else
thing.
does that.
But now that you're on the commission, we've got the restroom
Well, now,
in
yes,
the office.
but prior to that,
Yeah, right.
yeah, I would just go down to the corner there at the gas station.
I don't think I've ever done
Well, Matt, I'm so proud for you that you're able to do that kind of stuff, but there are old codgers that can't make it to the gas station.
That's true. I've been known, oh, wait a minute.
I've seen it
did not
happen
say
before.
that.
I've seen it
Something to
happen.
think about if we can figure out
Yeah, that's right.
Additional
So we know
income.
it's $100 a month, and they're,
Budget meeting.
yeah.
I mean, if
yeah.
it's in the budget, I don't see that it's going to hurt anything to put it out there, that's for
Well,
sure.
we can put that item and see if it'll balance out. If we
Yeah,
want to.
I mean, it could be, back in that area that, it's the Coffee Road. Is that the name, Coffee, that heads down to the back?
One thing I want to say is, I want to ask this question to you all.
No, you can't have a motorized wheelchair out there.
Expansion is an issue in the cemetery.
Yeah.
There's two ways to expand. Take down trees that's an undeveloped area and make it into a developed area, right? The second way to expand is utilizing the alleys that will still allow accessibility for all the plots in that alley. Okay? So this is something that you all need to kind of think about because it's come along here. And we're going to have to look at expansion. But there's a lot of room in the cemetery for additional plots
Okay.
without taking down trees.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Okay.
All right. Announcements, commemorative coins available. I've just kind of left that in there.
Yeah.
Anything else? Let's go into the meeting summary now, and the purpose of this is really to help make sure that we've captured for you, for the meeting minutes, what we have done this evening.
You got to make it quick because I got to go.
Yeah, okay, we're going to make it quick because we've all got to go. Do you want to, hey guys, let's let her just review the motions and how they passed, because everything else is
Bill?
fine. Okay, because we'll help you. Okay.
Okay, so I've
listen
got
up.
the head groundskeeper. The report was read by LB. Sexton Office Manager, there was no report. Superintendent login report is attached. I mean, we have it, it's not
Yeah.
attached, but it can be.
Yep,
Treasurer's report was read by David, see attached.
yep.
Special event voices, and then we went into executive session, and no action at this time. Unfinished business website update, no changes, future training.
Yeah.
Facebook update, no changes, the burial database was added to Facebook. Sign project, report by Matt, variety of signs available, discussion held, Dustin Griffith, Ozark CNC. Motion made by LB to proceed with final cost and number of signs for street and block, $11,000 maximum.
Order.
Seconded by Ratha. Kiosk improvement, new brochure holder added, information has been updated in the kiosk. New cremation area, blocks 18 and 19, called Cremation Row, alignment and access to it. Cemetery Projects Committee, Friends of the Cemetery possibly doing fundraising for us. CPA.
Wait, go back. So back on that new cremation area, so what we've said is we'll have that all mapped out, right, LB? And
Sir?
We'll have the new cremation area, we've got it named, and it'll be mapped out, so we'll know what's for sale and not in the books prior to this first sale.
Oh, absolutely,
I
yes,
thought that
sir.
was important.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll have
absolutely.
mapped out what areas are, what's for sale.
Yeah, so what we wanted to do, is just make sure that we've got the same in our map books, that's all in there. So we don't just take somebody out and go, hey, well, you can buy one here because we're going to do this or that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then the CPA QuickBooks progress, report by David. The workshop in Huntsville, the guys learned a lot, possibly putting on a workshop at our cemetery.
Great.
In a new business, discussion on possibility of the tour guides beginning in April of 2025. Motion made by LB to develop and present to commission, second by Matt next month.
Yeah.
Monumental news, discussion by LB, Facebook, newspaper, motion made to proceed by LB. Excuse me. A second by Ratha. Budget 2025. Motion made by Ratha to have a special meeting October 28th to discuss budget, and I don't have who did a second on that.
LB. LB. LSB.
Okay, number 4 was plot sales, and I didn't really write anything down on that.
On what?
What's number?
It was
Promotion?
number 4.
Plot sales.
Oh,
Promotion of burial sites, plot sales.
Well, we just want to be mindful of looking at just new avenues to advertise.
Y'all come on out and buy some plots.
Y'all here? Y'all come back now.
Flag display. Gonna switch over here.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Flag on all veterans' graves year-round. Motion made by Matt to purchase flags for all veterans' graves and conduit not to exceed $500. Second by LB.
Yep.
Number 6, deed issues, plot for quick claim, and whatever that other one was y'all discussed. I didn't write it down. Did you know it? You can add it in here.
What was that? The deed,
The
turning the deeds back in.
that was the quick claim, and then the first one was the ones that we sold
Yeah.
that they bought in 2018 and or whenever it was. I didn't get all the details on
Okay,
that
what
first one.
does she need to write down on that?
I've got all that. I'll get it to you right then.
Well, David's getting this, or you are one. I
I'm
can't.
getting that. I got to type that up.
I won't. I don't
I have
have
the names
access
and
to
so
do that.
We need no.
Okay, so that's number 6. Number 7, pet awareness. Animals must be on a leash. Do not allow to urinate on headstones. Avoid other dogs. People, be aware.
Yeah.
Number 8, visitors versus daily work duties. Groundskeepers are aware of the vehicles.
We're asking the public to,
They are not weed eating or blowing pine needles purposely on your vehicle. People walking should also avoid lawn mowers. Loose ends, number 1, cemetery truck needs to be replaced, asking for a donation of a truck. And then number 2 is porta potty requested in back of cemetery as a courtesy to cemetery guests. We'll discuss at budget meeting.
Very good. Okay, I think that's a very good meeting summary. Or any other commentary? Anyone that joined us tonight, did you have any questions or anything? Thank you for coming.
Appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah, appreciate y'all being here.
There you go.
So the agenda setting, we'll have that done. I'll follow up with everybody to get new items added and to be submitted, and I'll get that by October the 30th. And I am ready to adjourn this meeting.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
I gotta go.
Aye. Okay. Thank you.